So in this video, we are going to see about EIGRP authentication mechanism. So similar to the previous exercise, we are going to create the same kind of sample networks. I'm going to add the N devices. I'm taking two PCs for a network. This we are going to involve two routers. So connecting the two PCs to the switch, then connecting the switch to the router. As I already mentioned in the previous video, please don't directly connect the computers PCs with the router. This is a very bad way of networking. Connect the PCs to the switch, then connect the switch to the router. I'll go to the router. Let me select 2911 router. So I'm selecting the wire, connecting the PC with the switch. So these are the usual settings which we have done in our earlier exercise. If you are having any doubt, again please refer this. Connecting the switch with the router. Okay. So now we have formed two networks. You can see. So this one network, and both the networks are in the same autonomous system. So let me type the network address 192.168.10.0. Again, I'm reminding, not only PCs, not only routers, the network also will be having an IP address that is called as a network address. For this network, the address is 192.168.10.0. Always the first address in a block will be assigned to a particular network. First address in the block means 0. 10.0 the first address. The last address in the particular block is 10.255. So the first address 10.0 will be the network address. The last address 10.255 will be the broadcast address. So I'm using different network number 192.168.20.0. So this is this network address. Okay. Now we got to interconnect these two routers. For interconnecting the router, we are using the serial interface. Let us check whether the serial interface is available in the router. By default, serial interface is not here, so we have to add it. So go to the physical. First, switch off the router. Take this HWIC2T, connect this. Okay. Again, switch it on. So now go to configuration. So we got to wait for some more time. The device is getting booted. Now we can see two serial interfaces. That means I can connect two routers with this router by using this serial interface. Similarly, we have to add the serial interface for router 1. Click on the router, go to the config. It is not there. It won't be there by default, so we have to add it. Switch off the router, drag this HWIC2T, the interface for serial connections. Again, switch it on. Don't forget to switch on the router. You have to switch on the router. Now go to configuration. As I told, it will be taking some time because the device is still booting. We have to wait. Yeah, now the interfaces are added. After connecting this interface, we have to connect two routers, router 0 and router 1, by using serial DCE. Serial. So I have connected two routers. Now physically we have configured two networks. We have connected these two networks by using the serial cable. Now we should go for the inner configurations. So this network address is 10.0 and the next address to the network address is 10.1. Usually that address is given for the router or gateway node. So click on the router. So the router is connected to this network. To this network in the sense I am referring PC0 and PC1 through the interface gigabit Ethernet 0x0. So click on this. First switch on the particular interface. What is the number I told? 192.168.10.1. The first number. We have set it. Now go to PCs. You have to set the IP address for the PC. Go to IP configuration. So set it 192.168.10.10.0 is given for the network. 10.1 is assigned for the router or gateway node. So we have to give 10.2 for the PC. This is a default subnet mask. Leave as it is. Default gateway is 192.168.10.1. Just now we have seen this is the address we have set for the router. Yes, we have set the IP configuration for PC0. Now go to PC1. Go to the desktop, click on IP configuration, then type 192.168.10.3. And this is a subnet mask. Default gateway is 192.168.10.1. For both the PCs, PC0 and PC1, the gateway IP is 192.168.10.1. We have configured. So now we have completed the IP configuration for this network alone. Then we got to go to this network. Go to router 1. So go to configuration. This is gigabit Ethernet 0x0. First switch it on. The number we have given is 192.168. The second network address is 20.0. So 20.1 we got to give for the router. And this is a default gateway. Subnet mask. Okay, setting it. Now we got to go to the PCs. PC2. So go to the desktop, IP configuration, type 192.168.20.2. This is subnet mask. Default gateway is 192.168.20.1. PC3 is 192.168.20.3. Gateway is same 192.20.1. So now we have set the IP address for the PCs for the router connected with this network. Now we are having one more network. Can you able to identify? Yes, it is nothing but we have connected the routers using the serial interface. Again, this connection itself is a third network. So we have to give a network address. I am giving the network address 192.168.30.0. Okay. Now go to the router 0. So router 0 and 1 are connected in serial interface. So go to the serial interface. switch on the serial interface. Now it is physically it is only one router, same router, but how many in number of interfaces it is having, that many number of IP addresses we have to give. So already we have given the IP address 192.168.10.1 for the interface gigabit 0 by 0. Now again for the serial connection we have to give the different interface. And what is the network number? 192.168.30.0. So 30.1. The next number I'm giving for the 30.1. Yes. Now go to router 0. Serial interface. Switch on. Type 192.168.30.2. The 30.1 I have given for the router 0. So router 1 I am giving 30.2. And 30.0 is the network address. Yes. So now for 3 different networks we have set the IP for the routers and for the existing PCs. Okay. Now what is left? Now we have to specify what routing protocol it is going to use. Earlier we have seen we can configure dynamic routing protocol by using RIP protocol, EIGRP protocol. Now this specific video is about setting the authentication for EIGRP. So basically we are going to use the EIGRP protocol. So let me go to router 0, go to CLI command. First we can come out. So now mostly when you are switching on the router it will be in this condition, it will be in the user mode. So we have to go to the root mode to enable the configuration setting. For enabling the root mode we have to type the command en enable, then config t. We are entering the configuration. Okay, now what we got to set, what dynamic routing protocol we are going to use. What is the protocol we are going to use? EIGRP. So the command is router EIGRP. We have to give the autonomous system number. We can give the number 100, some identification, some valid number for autonomous system. So all the 3 networks are in the same autonomous system. So while configuring we have to use the same autonomous number. So here I am using router EIGRP 100. Yes, the router is configured. Now router 0 is having how many networks? Let's have a look at it. Router 0 is having 2 networks, 192.168.10.0 and another network 192.168.30.0. So we have to add these 2 networks. Command is network 192.168.10.0. Then we have to give the wildcard mask address for this network. So this class C. Wildcard mask address for class C is 0.0.0.255, which is a complement of subnet mask address. And one more network 192.168.30.0 0.0.0.255. Okay, now I have entered both the networks, so we can exit. So now we have set the what is the routing protocol, dynamic routing protocol, the network how to follow. It is EIGRP. Up to this step we may have already seen in the previous video, but now we are going to add the authentication. So we have to type just a minute. We have to add the keychain and we have to give some number. I'm giving key name. Okay, then we have to set the key number. I'm giving the number 1. So this keychain name and key number should be same in both the routers. Okay, then key string we have to give. Key string I am giving first network. Okay, now we have set the first network. So exit. So three commands you have to set: keychain, key number, then key string. So keychain, the name of the key name. Okay. So the third one is the variable. You can give any name, and the key space number. That number also you can give any number, but both keychain name and key number should be same in both the routers, and key string also should be same. Okay. This key string is like the more or less like the password for the. It is going to act as a key. Okay. So now go to the interface, serial 0 bar 0 bar 0, because in this serial only we are connecting router 0 and router 1. So that line, that interface needs to be authenticated. This authentication mechanism we are going to add for the particular interface. So we are entering the interface and we got to set IP authentication. IP authentication EIGRP. The autonomous number is 100. And what is the protocol hash technique we are going to use? MD5. So IP authentication mode EIGRP 100 MD5. Then IP authentication key chain EIGRP 100. And what is the key chain name? Key name. That name we have to give. Okay. So this we have set for the router 0. Similarly, we got to repeat the same step for router 1. Go to CLA command. Okay, first we can go to the root mode. Then we can go to config T as. Then we got to set the routing protocol router EIGRP. What is autonomous system number? 100. I given 100. Then we got to add the networks. The router 2 network is connected. Router 1 net is connected with the two networks. This 192.168.20.0. The wildcard mask is 255. One more network is 192.168.30.0, 0.0.0.255. So both the networks I have added. You can exit. Now we have to set the authentication mechanism. So IP authentication mode EIGRP. Autonomous number is 100. The hash function is MD5. Okay, we have to go to the interface. To which interface we are going to add it? So let me enter the interface serial. Capture the serial interface. I am typing the command IP authentication mode EIGRP. Yes, before that we have to set the keychain. Keychain, key name. Okay, then key number 1, then key string. So first network. Yeah. So in the like router 0, again we have to set the same key settings for router 1. After doing this key settings, then we can go for the interface. Interface serial 0 by 0 by 0. Now we can go for IP authentication mode EIGRP 100 MD5. Then IP authentication EIGRP. What is it? The chain EIGRP 100. Then we have to give the key name. I have given the key name as it is. Yeah. Now we have set it. So now we got to check whether the authentication mechanism works for router 0 and 1. So it will be showing we are receiving, the router is receiving the authenticated message in the particular interface. So let us check it. So we can go to debug. The command is debug EIGRP packets. So here you can see router 1 received a hello message. It received a hello message with the MD5 authentication key ID 1. On which interface? It is showing serial 0 by 0 by 0 interface. It is not showing the authentication message for the other interface, gigabit ethernet, because we didn't set the authentication for gigabit interface. Only for serial interface we have set the authentication mechanisms. Okay. Similarly, we can check for router 0, which I'm expecting the students you have to check it. Okay. Thank you.